Hi, welcome to another interview in our CEO series here on Learn, Grow, Invest. I'm Jermaine, I'm the co-founder for this community. Our CEO series is where we get a chance to hear from the CEOs of publicly listed companies, hear about the company, get some commentary on the most recent financials, and get some insights into the outlook or the future of the company. So these interviews have been just a great chance to connect with the face of the companies that you and I may be potential investors in. So today is going to be a great interview. So let us get started and we'll get the ball rolling.
Learning is the key to successful investing. And who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at L.E.A.R.N Grow Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on all social media platforms at Learn, Grow, Invest.
All right, welcome back. So it's very, very good to see you for our very first episode for 2023. Let's kick things off with a word of prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the ability to produce wealth. We thank you that we're able to see another day, another year. We pray that you will give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, everyone, be sure to share the video. We want as many persons as possible to join us on for this conversation. So I have the pleasure of being joined by Tania Waldron-Gooden from Caribbean Assurance Brokers. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly.
You got it right, Jermaine.
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's coming to the end of the day, but I'm good.
Great. Very, very happy that you're with us. Thank you for accepting our invite to join us for this interview.
You're most welcome.
All right. So what we normally do here is go through just a little bit of an introduction for the company. So tell us a little bit about Caribbean Assurance Brokers.
Well, Caribbean Assurance Brokers, affectionately known as CAB, and as well listed on the ticker symbol is actually CA Brokers and not CAB. We are, yes, the CA Brokers, because CAB was taken. So we couldn't use CAB at the time of listing.
Okay.
I think it's regional. It's one of the regional listings. I don't remember what it was now. But we had to go with CA Brokers. So that's the ticker symbol, actually. We are a full service insurance brokerage firm. And I'd like to make the distinction. So we are not an insurance agency. We are not an insurer, but a broker who acts on behalf of our clients to seek the best insurance solutions. In saying that, when I say full service, I mean we offer general insurance, individual life and health, as well as international life and health and employee benefits. So that's it in a nutshell. So being a broker, we act, I repeat that, act on behalf of the client, and we earn commissions through acting on behalf of our clients.
Okay, so the very next question I was going to ask is, how do you make money? So I guess all the revenues come from commissions?
Commissions from the insurer by acting on behalf of the clients, by selling those products and services.
Okay, and there are no dedicated services that you may provide directly. It's all pointing.
It's all brokerage, yes. So it's no dedicated service, except I will say our international comprehensive health insurance product. I can't say more. iChip, that's our international health product. It's our product, stamped by us, but we can't speak too much about that right now.
Okay, no problem. All right, tell us a little bit about you and your journey to CEO. How recap your journey to this role.
Let me start completing university with a degree in geology, minor in mathematics. I started at Carib Cement as a junior geologist, and I'm more a numbers person. I had an aunt in investments, or actually commercial banking, and I thought let me try to learn about money instead of just being a scientist. And at the time, I just was so curious, and curiosity is best explored while you're young. That don't mean when you're not young you shouldn't become curious, because you should always be so. However, I started at Capital and Credit Securities Limited, got an opportunity there. I started learning about portfolio management and pension fund management. And so that got me even more excited. Did the Jamaica Securities course, Canadian Securities course. And so that taught me quite a bit. That was a great foundation. After that, I transitioned to similar environment, which is Mayber Investments Limited, as a lot of persons know about my journey there in terms of IPOs. I was known to be a part of that team and leading that team into the junior market, which is now very much integrated in the financial system. And that was good. So, in doing so, in leading those teams and projects, it gave me much experience in that. As I said before, my idea was to learn about money, not just money as in the dollars and cents, but how do you create wealth? And that has always been a target of mine. I started investing myself from an early age. As I reached Capital and Credit Securities, they invest in stocks. Everybody excited. I wanted to know what it's about. And then you started to learn how to create the securities themselves within the regulation. So that gave me the spur to want to manage, lead, and teach. I'm passionate about reading and teaching, learning continually. And so I wanted to lead others in doing so. So at Mayber, I got that opportunity. Fast forward to 2020, I listed CA brokers on the exchange, and Mr. Walker approached me to, basically take on this role. At the time, at my previous employment, I was the director of investment banking and also a director of that company. And CAB, while transitioning them into the junior market to be listed, I started that board 2017. And so, in a nutshell, that was it. Here I am.
That's a very interesting story, and what that tells me is that you understand exactly how things work from an investor perspective. So
Correct.
and I think that's just a great advantage to have, because you understand even the value of this interview that we're having right now for potential investors. So that's awesome, great story. Thank you so much for sharing that. How would you look at CAB from uh, from an investor perspective, or let's say rather an industry perspective? Like how would you maybe describe it to somebody who would want to know just high level about the company?
So juxtaposed to, well, industry wide, we're one of the largest brokers. Some brokers might not be licensed to carry all products. So I mentioned we're full service. Some might do general insurance is their core, employee benefits. Some have all suites like us. And then we are one of the largest that are not affiliated with a group, or you understand, an affiliated company or a group of companies, so a standalone company. In relation to the industry, as I said, we have been awarded a couple of awards from insurance companies, being number one, especially in employee benefits. We have one of the best products, if not the best, if I may say so myself, in the international health arena, and we continue to lead there. Of course, competition is there, so we have to reinvent ourselves and try to offer the best service possible.
Okay, great. Okay, so we are at the, well, some would say the tail end of a very rough last 2 years. What impact has the last 2 years had on the company?
I would say the impact was, um, let me put it this way, COVID-19, of course, you refer to that, the last 2 years coming out of 2020 into 2021, being hopeful about, when is this thing going to end? However, 2021 was also good for us, because even though there was COVID, we found different ways of reaching our clients, making sure our service is still up. You understand? So coming into 2022, we continue in the same vein. We started pushing on I keep saying insurtech, but that's what it is. So you have fintech before, where investment banking was revolutionized in terms of payments online and so on. Insurtech is behind, but slowly catching up. So we want to be the leaders in that. And with that said, we basically launched into full speed ahead. We put a lot of resources into making sure our new system is up and running, and that should we cut over this bit, well, today actually, and that will allow increased service in terms of payments, access to payments online, service delivery increase, quotes online, and so on. So we're trying to differentiate ourselves. And going back to the question of industry, the differentiation really comes from service. Of course, the products, finding the right products, but at the end of the day, the differentiating factor is service and relationship management. So that's what we're doing. So that's what really got us over the last 2 years. So we've been doing better each year because we have found that formula, and we know that we're not 100% there, but we really found a way to get to the clients without actually having to be face to face. And actually, even if we're face to face, we know how to get the clients comfortable. So
Okay.
it's a client based, a relationship based business. And so we have held on to most, if not, well, 90 plus percent of our clientele, while getting on new clients as well.
Okay. So net of that, you'd say your business has grown over the
Yes.
last 2 years.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Happy to hear. So what would you say? So let's talk a little bit about the highlights for your most recent quarter. So you would have published your Q3 financials. We see a growth in your net profit. What would you attribute mostly to that growth?
I would say number one for us was expense management while developing a new system. And number two is basically getting out there with the clients. So if you notice, the top line had grown as well, and managing that relationship. We also had to dig deep into FX type management. You know, we 50% of our earnings or more, over 50% of our earnings is actually USD. So we have to manage that while we have Jamaican dollar expenses. So yes, we went into to teach a team treasury management, and that's what really brought things on a level. You understand? So it was a young team, but we got it to date.
So speak a little bit more about the strategy that you mentioned about, teaching the team treasury management. What are some of your general cash flow strategies? Like how do you, maintain a good handle on that?
Well, so cash flow. So the fact is that, as I said before, 50% or 50 plus percent of our income is actually USD. So you don't want to have to convert USD if you don't need to. And so we have a line of credit in place. That's just in case, as a contingency. While we do that, other income from general insurance and so on, and we saw an uptick in that business, we were able to match Jamaican dollar expense with Jamaican dollar income. You understand? So the cash flow has been phenomenal. If you look at our cash flow statement, we have been managing that quite well. If we don't have to spend, we don't, but we have to invest in the future. So that's basically what.
All right,
But
great. Thank you for that.
the game changer was managing our FX situation.
Yeah, that would make sense based on how that split you mentioned about revenue generated in USD. So, next question I thought have for you a little bit along the lines of managing cash flow are your receivables. So there would have been a slight growth in your receivables. How do you manage that? What's your overall strategy for managing receivables?
So receivables are tracked on a daily basis, actually. And remember, we don't get paid. This is what people don't understand. We don't get paid unless we recover everything. So even though you see that's a snapshot that you're seeing,
Yeah.
money is owed to us. We also have payables. So the insurers, if we don't get paid, we can't pay the insurers. So we match receivables to payables, and that's how we manage that on an ongoing basis. Of course, when we see things increase over 30 days, then we start to drill down. But we don't wait until we reach 60 days or 90 days to start drilling down. But what
Okay.
you're seeing is a snapshot. So we might so you might see a big payable, but it means that we have not paid over some monies to the insurer. You might see some big receivables because at that point, it wasn't due to come in.
Okay. So that means that since it is, as you said, a snapshot, it's really best to look at things maybe from a year perspective or maybe a
Correct.
quarter perspective
Quarter to get a good
and
feel.
not just okay. All right. So in terms of so you mentioned, so we're talking about receivables just now. How do you have I was gonna ask you, do you generally have concerns or challenges in terms of recovering monies owed? Based
The
on
challenge,
type of
let me tell you,
business.
given the climate in 2020, 2021, there were some challenges because you have clients who found it difficult, but we worked with them. And remember, we can offer financing. It's really through the insurer, or we encourage in insurance premium financing, and we'll forge those relationships with those able to provide that service.
Okay, great.
You understand? So we try to get the client to get that service so that they can better manage. So some people used to pay it all at once. Instead of saying, okay, it can't be covered, we source financing for them.
Okay.
So that takes the risk off. You understand?
Yeah. That increases your probability of getting paid while allowing them to
The client to breathe. Yes.
Yeah.
During those
Great.
times.
Thank you for that.
And then
So
we
we have
also negotiate the rates for the clients. You understand?
Great. Interesting. That's good to know. That's good to know. All right, so we have a question that's related, so I'm just going to bring it on now. So Finance with Lance is asking, what would cause the net profits of your business to fluctuate often? I figure you're talking, Lance, over, I guess, different periods. If you could give us some more insights, that would be good in terms of the context of your question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But what I can say, if I can take a stab at it, if it's not that that's not where you're going. Remember, you have the only thing that can really cause a fluctuation. Remember, I keep saying we're a relationship business. The fact is that if clients are not satisfied, they will go elsewhere. Introduction of new products can cause that, can affect your profit at the end of the day. Also, any shocks to the system can cause a fluctuation. So there are a couple of things in our business, and shocks meaning you have volatility in the exchange rate. And I mentioned that before, we had to manage that carefully last year, given what was happening, because it's almost like you couldn't time it or project in a real solid way. Although our projection is never solid, but you understand what I'm saying, the probability of being right or hitting the nail on the head was lower. So we had to find ways to manage that. So shocks such as COVID could cause it to fluctuate, but in terms of fluctuation, it's just quarter by quarter. Anything that will affect new business and anything that will affect your expenses going up, new regulatory regime, new regulatory fees. There are certain, for example, data protection coming in. We have to expend quite a bit of money in this year to make sure that we are compliant. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, so he added some more context saying from 2019 till now. I think you answered it very well in terms of that context that you just gave. So thank you for that question, Lance. So let us talk about. So let's look ahead, right? So we're now due for. Well, we will be due shortly, I imagine, for the Q4 results. How do you see CAB closing out the year, based on where you are right now?
Of course, I can't speak to that, Jermaine. Being in a listed company, I can say we really push hard towards the last quarter. That's what I can say. And I said the team really pushed hard. You know the climate we're in. Of course, we're more open now, and there are other challenges and regulatory challenges that we have, but I can't say exactly how we're gonna do that, and you know that.
I do, but you see, I have to ask, so it's
Yes, I
completely
know you have
okay.
to ask, but
Yeah.
we really pushed hard in Q4 as we did. And remember, this year was the first time we're profitable each quarter up to Q3. So we really doubled down in Q4. But I can't speak to how
Yeah, man.
well we
Okay,
did.
so I think you actually said a lot just now without saying it. So do
No,
you
don't
so
read into that. I'm saying we cannot say.
let
Um,
me let me ask you this way. Do you think your shareholders will be happy with your performance at for Q4?
and I'm so glad I'm in this position. I haven't seen the entire results just yet.
Okay. Fair
Um,
enough. Fair enough.
yeah, so, and remember, we are not going to produce Q4 because the company elected to do no Q4 and audit earlier within 60 days.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
so I'll just make that clarification.
No,
So you
that's
won't
actually
see
very
a,
helpful.
yeah, because you won't see a Q4, which would have been due 15th of February, thereabout.
Mhm.
You would see the audit that is due end of February, 1st of March.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
So we're
That's
going
a
through
question that's
audit now.
in
Yeah.
our group daily for the different companies. So that's extremely helpful.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you
the
so much.
election is important for the different companies.
Okay. All right. So let me see a question here by Imran. He's asking, in an effort to grow revenue, profit, and diverse income stream, what would the company be open to making investments in equities or fixed income instruments or private equity?
Interesting question. So I'll take so equities not right now. I will say fixed income instruments. We do that now in the form of anything, even a fixed income portfolio that will give us above average returns. So we do that now, especially on our USD, because we earn more than 50% in USD. So that is so, and we try not to break those if we don't have to, unless we want to go into some kind of transaction. And that's where private equity comes, mergers and acquisitions. So we are minded in that vein, and that's a part of our growth strategy. And I can't say more than that now.
Okay, well, we're actually heading there. So I'm glad that you said that because that's gonna segue right into our very next question. What's your growth strategy for the next 3 years?
Next 3 to 5 years, because it's running every time, every strategy. We just completed our strategic retreat in November, our usual retreat. And of course, a part of that growth strategy, so we plan to grow locally as well as regionally. Regionally, in the form of products and services, continue to offer across other islands, other English speaking Caribbean islands. I can say a couple of them on the radar, say Barbados, building relationships there, Cayman Islands, and so on. In terms of locally, of course, we see opportunities. And remember, I told you that we are a full service
Yes.
brokerage house. So, for example, in general insurance, we see opportunities there to expand, and we have been growing faster than we had before, and we see opportunities in that vein. Of course, we have mergers and acquisition ambitions, and of course, we are putting the groundwork to get that done. But I can't say much more on that. But 3 to 5 years, I see CAB having not necessarily more than one branch, because that's what we have now, if you can call it a branch, one location, but we see ourselves multiplying in the digital space. Let's put it that way.
Okay, okay. So more expanding regionally while not necessarily opening more branches, but from the same location, maybe online,
Yeah.
expanding
Hence
your
why we
reach.
spent quite a bit of funds um, in that new software. And we
Okay.
put over today, actually.
Okay, great, great. So you mentioned mergers and acquisitions. Can we, so you said you can't say much more about it right now. Fair enough. Is it likely that we'll hear something more about that maybe within the next 12 months?
You will hear more about that within the next 12 months.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not telling you what you're hearing, but you will hear more.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So in terms of, hmm, well, I was gonna ask you if it is that, or I was gonna ask you one more question about
Sure.
mergers and acquisitions. In terms of, would it be potentially a local acquisition, regional acquisition, potentially, of course, hypothetically.
Mhm. So nothing is off the table based on what you said.
Okay. All
Put it
right.
that way.
Thank you for
Mhm.
that. Okay. So next question from our community here. Elaine is asking, um, hmm, how will reinsure that? I'm not sure that's
Oh,
how
we'll
will reinsure
reintroduce.
seeking a high return on their investment affect your business?
I
Elaine, you want
believe
to
she's
rephrase that
speaking
question?
about
Mhm.
general insurance there. Of course, that will cause an increase in the price of the product and service in general insurance division, and that is affecting all brokers and insurers
Ah,
in the
okay,
business
okay,
now. So of
okay.
course, given you've seen the disasters lately, and that does increase the cost of those products and services. So what it means is that we have to get a little more creative in finding solutions for the clients while trying to, and as I said before, reduce the impact somewhat, and negotiations, we saw that in Q4 2022, just gone. We saw the uptick in pricing, and the differentiation is relationships and knowing and how technical your general insurance team is.
Okay,
So that
okay.
that's the differentiation. But we do expect an increase in those prices, and some clients may, if they have the option, not choose to do business, but we have to find solutions for them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are things that you can't control, and that's why I say
Mhm.
it's mostly down to the relationship with the client. If they're willing to explore options, you'll explore it with them. Otherwise, your focus is, continuing to grow, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Imran is asking if you can estimate your market share in the brokerage market.
That's a difficult question. I've been asked that so much because so we have different divisions, as I said before, general insurance, and you don't have that public information. We're the only listed broker. So it's difficult
Yeah.
to answer that question. Quite difficult, actually. I can say that we're still the number one player in the international health division. I can say that, and we are strong rivals in employee benefits. I can say that. But in terms of numbers, I can't tell you numbers. I just know that we are one of the largest players.
Okay. All right. Thank you. In terms of, well, I actually had a question that was similar to what Imran asked. How are you planning to? So we're not able to identify market share now, but how are you planning to take potential market share from other competitors? Of course, not sharing any secret sauces, of course, but what would be your strategy to potentially win business from the competitor?
And as I said before, and I reiterate now, it is a relationship business. It's a business of trust, and that's what we're trying to foster. It seems generic, it seems like a generic answer, but I've been in investment banking as well, and I'm telling you, everything in a relationship business about your client trusting you and you giving superior service and just being there for the client. Sometimes the client's really an investment banker, and your insurance broker is like your doctor. You understand? And if you don't trust your doctor, you're always gonna get a second opinion. We're trying to reduce them needing or feeling like they need a second opinion. And
Yeah.
what we want to be is a number one stop shop for everything. So,
Okay.
and we are always already there. The differentiation, I will repeat, it is relationship management. And it seems simple, but it's not that simple.
Okay.
So we
Fair
have
enough.
put things in place to ensure, as I said, I keep repeating the systems. People want convenience. They want ease, because now that the market is opening up, everybody saying come back to work physically. They don't want to have to come to them insurance broker for a policy. They don't
Yeah.
want to have to get up to go make payments. And the industry is a bit behind there, and that's what we're pushing to differentiate ourselves on.
Okay. So you've mentioned that a few times. Are there anything specific that you could say that would set you apart in terms of those steps to innovate in terms of technology, maybe updating systems, software, etc. And anything specific that you can mention there?
So, for example, you in a short order, you'll be able to go online, get quotes. You understand? You can go online, buy a particular product, and it's a straight through processing. So instead of you having to even you talk to somebody, but you don't have to interact every step of the way. So that's one of the differentiating factors.
Okay, and that would of course help with your plans to expand
Correct,
regional.
regionally. Mhm.
Great, great. So in terms of well, there's a question here that I can probably mention here. Imran is asking if there are any plans to increase your dividend.
Don't LOL, it's actually a good question. Of course, I can answer like this. The more we grow, the more we can share with the shareholders. And we are actually a company that believes in paying dividends, I must say. So I can answer you in that way.
Okay, great. So I was actually going to ask a question based on, so do you foresee with your growth plans, with your comments on mergers and well, potential mergers and acquisitions, do you foresee needing to do any additional raises over the next maybe 24 months?
Good question. I mean, we have built up our cash reserves, yes, but we can't deplete all of that. So yes, that's on the table. It depends, of course. We're not gonna acquire everything or merge with everything. So it's on a case by case basis. So we'll fund those acquisitions as required.
Okay, okay, great. All right, let me see here, see if there are any additional questions. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions from the chat. Let me just do a scroll through here. Be sure I'm not missing anything. Orville is saying that you're looking lovely this evening.
Thank you, Orville. I tried. I tried.
All right, so I'm not seeing any other questions. So I think we've covered most of what we're hoping to cover. But what I will ask you is, so, and this is a question that we ask our CEOs all the time, what type of investor do you think is ideal for Caribbean assurance brokers?
I'm so happy you I'm so happy you asked that question, because sometimes, all right, in any investment, and the core is you have to determine, and not all stocks are equal, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you have to determine. I believe that we are actually um, the type of company that can attract all type of investors, but investors must know that equities in itself is a high risk investment security, right? However, I prefer a long term investor who understand the cycles of the company. And of course, interviews like this give you an opportunity.
Yes.
And of course, what I would say is that in the last 2 years, we haven't had a physical AGM since listing. So this year we will have a physical, all things being equal, physical AGM this year. So you get to understand us a bit better. But in a nutshell, I like a long-term outlook. Of course, you get rewarded through dividend payments as the company grows. And of course, we do a mix of income type of equity. That's what we are, and growth. So if you are interested in income and growth, that's what I think you should buy this stock. But anybody with the appetite for stocks, I think, will find a good security in Caribbean assurance brokers.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And I'll just say, because you mentioned the word buy just now, this is not financial advice. Anything that
No, it's not.
we're discussing here, I just have to say that, and I'm sure
Yeah,
you understand why as well.
I
All
do.
right. So I believe that's all our
I'm
questions. I
licensed
want
to say bye. I'm licensed to say bye, Jeremy, and so.
exactly right. So thank you so much. So what we will do is we definitely encourage our CEOs when they visit with us to make plans to give us continual updates as we go to get additional interviews done as we get those subsequent reports. You did mention the date as to when persons can expect your audited for 2022. I believe you said March 1st is
Yes.
the date aiming for. Okay,
And we are usually
great.
early. Mhm.
Great to know as well. And in terms of that dividend consideration, that would be sometime after the AGM, the upcoming.
I cannot say. I have to wait. You wait until the market knows. Because I don't
Okay,
know.
okay.
There's
Aline
a
is asking
process.
if we'll see a 10% dividend yield.
I cannot respond to that.
Okay.
What's that? Ali, I don't remember. I don't know how to pronounce
Aline, yeah, Aline is
it.
asking. So,
Yeah.
so here's the thing again. We love to ask about dividend yields here on Learn Grow Invest. So we like to see, the higher the dividend, the better. So it's just something that he just wanted to get an understanding or try to at least get that response out of you to see
Yeah,
whether.
I know, but I'm bounded by a regulatory framework. Let's put it that way.
Okay, okay, fair enough. So I want to thank you so much, Tania, for meeting with us. It was a great discussion. We learned a lot about the company, a lot about you as well. So thank you so much for being here. We look forward to meeting with you again soon.
Thank you so much, Jermaine. It's a pleasure.
All right. All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I feel like that was a very, informative discussion. You learned a little bit about the company, a little bit about the CEO as well. Be sure to let us know if there are any questions that you have in the comments below, just in case we missed it. And look forward to those dates that were mentioned. It's important in your understanding of as Tania said, the understanding of the cycles of the company when reports are due and things of that nature. So if you have any questions relating to that, post it under the video and we'll get to it as soon as we can. If there are a series of questions, what we typically do is wait till they get to a certain point, then we'll send an email, get those responses, and just post them in our community group. So that leads me to asking you or inviting you rather to join us on Telegram if you have not done so already. The link is in the description of this video. And stay tuned for further updates about Caribbean assurance brokers and other companies on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I want to thank you so much. There are a lot of things that you have to look forward to for this year. I can't see all of them now, but we have another interview coming up on Thursday. We have our stocks to watch for 2023 coming up in about 2 weeks. We have our stock reviews coming this month. We have 2 stock reviews coming up. So our community members have been voting. So we're going to feature a stock next week, Wednesday, and then 2 weeks after that. And we have a ton of other updates. So be sure to join our mailing list. The link is in the description. You have the option to donate to our community. We are creating this content free of cost to you. So if you feel led to donate to our community, you're welcome to do that. And for everything else, be sure to follow us at L.E.A.R.N Grow Invest on social media. Imran, I'm seeing your question. I'll just send it to Tania and we'll get to it as soon as we can. All right. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the very next video.
Learning is the key to successful investing. And who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at L.E.A.R.N Grow Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on all social media